thank you both for everything that you do for the Commonwealth, for the country, but of course for us right now, especially what you've been able to do in supporting UMass Lowell. Both of you have been great champions of the university, our research agenda, the federal support that you have brought to UMass Lowell has made such a difference. And I know that you are both and have always been very strong champions of social justice. It's something you have both worked on your whole career. And really, that's what this program is about today, and why I'm so glad that you're here to celebrate. And I don't know if the students have heard, I know Matt has, because I see him walking up and down the hallway right now doing the happy dance every couple of days. Because this has been in all of our dreams to expand our Riverhawk Scholars Academy. And the funding that you have brought home to Massachusetts, $500,000, again, will enable us to take this program to even more students. You know, when I look at this program and I think about its extraordinary success, I want to thank Matt HURWITZ, who you'll hear from in a minute, describing the program and what happened. It's sometimes hard to put into words. We like to say here at UMass Lowell, we think there's a little magic in this program. And you will get to hear from some of the students about the extraordinary work that happens at the Riverhawk Scholars Academy. But I'll single out one just piece of evidence that doesn't really tell their story. And again, they'll tell it better than I do. But at UMass Lowell, something we work very hard on is student retention and graduation rates. And I know that you both care a lot about student success, students realizing their dreams, and really for social justice. This is the greatest way for us to achieve social justice is through social mobility, through education. And again, for us here at UMass Lowell, these Riverhawk students sometimes can bring the greatest challenges with them and have to overcome some very challenging barriers to achieve their dreams. But here, we have freshman retention rates and graduation rates that are higher than our students overall. So this is a testament to their incredible courage, their hard work and determination. I couldn't be more proud of them. And in a minute, you'll hear from KIARA VASQUEZ. KIARA, raise your hand, and NICOLE Rosario, also Nader Fernandez, who is the president of our Student Government Association. I just want you to know that Nader recently made a presentation to our entire senior cabinet, which would have been intimidating for a lot of students his age. But he stood tall, and I know that you will see the same thing that we see. And that is that the education that they receive here at UMass Lowell gives them the strength and the courage to have composure and apartment in this kind of setting. And I said to Nader, are you nervous? He said, oh, not really. Because he's used to it now. He's been tried and tested. But again, know that the investment that you have made in the Riverhawk Scholars Academy, that you are ensuring that students like these, the future generations, will realize their dreams and go out and make a difference in the world. Thank you again for everything you do for UMass Lowell. And now I'll turn it over to President MEEHAN.
Thank you very much, Jackie, and delighted to join all of you today, and want to first of all introduce our legislative delegation. We're very fortunate, as the Congresswoman knows and the Senator knows, we all work together in Lowell, and we have an outstanding delegation to the Massachusetts State House. Representative Markey, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. Representative Dana Howard, thank you very much for being here as well. And lastly, but not least, is the Dean of the delegation, Tom Golden. Tom Golden is a double Riverhawk. He has an undergraduate degree and a master's degree from here. And we're excited because Representative Golden is about to become the city manager of Lowell, and he's been instrumental in helping us get funding for our new business building. He's been very supportive of the university. Now he's going to be the city manager, and Tom, we look forward to working with you in that role as well. It's great to have Senator Markey and Congresswoman Trahan, I want to first of all thank you for the incredible work that you have done over the last few years in getting us through this pandemic. This university could not possibly have gotten through what we've been through without your support of a number of federal aid packages. One package that went to colleges and universities, half of it went directly to students who were in need. And that was very, very helpful to us. Another part of the package helped us get through. We lost millions and millions of dollars. So thank you for all the work that you have done in getting that package. And I have to say, sometimes I think that the Congress doesn't get as much credit as it ought to for the federal aid that we have gotten, because we would be in tough shape at this university, but for the fact that our senator and our congresswoman have been fighting for us. So thank you for that. I have to put my head out the window in order to get to see the bridges that have just been renovated. But Senator Markey played a critically important role in getting funding for 3 bridges that affected this campus in something called the Tiger Grant. Many of you, I know you're seniors in the group, so you know that the bridge connecting North Campus to East Campus has been closed. We were unable to put security vehicles through it. You know that when you take the bus from campus to campus, that the bridge on Pawtucket Street has been closed. So we end up taking 25 extra minutes to get you from one campus to the other. And Senator Markey was critically important in getting us that funding, and we thank you for that. Jackie and I are both alums, and we're really sensitive, particularly first generation. My sisters and I were first generation. Jackie's a first generation college grad. And we know that the real test of our society is to the extent that we can get first generation students into the university and make them successful. Make them successful. And I think the measure of us as a society will be directly tied into what kind of a job we do as universities, bringing people to the university and then helping them succeed when they get here. I think you're going to hear stories about how this program has helped do exactly that. And so I just want to thank both of you for putting this earmark into the budget. It used to be, that earmarks were a bad word. It's not a bad word when it aids a program like this. So I want to thank the Congresswoman Trahan and Senator Markey for that. And it's great to have you on the campus again. Now I'm told that I'm going to introduce Senator Ed Markey. Ed Markey, we were just talking, has family roots in the city of Lawrence, close by here. And I remember Ed bringing his father back up to Lawrence to go to the home on Phillips Street. He's been an outstanding United States Senator and an outstanding member of the House of Representatives. I mentioned the bridges, but he is a natural leader on clean energy. He's a natural leader on making this country green. And I was fortunate enough to serve 14 years with him in the House of Representatives. He does a great job for us. Please welcome our Senator, United States Senator Ed Markey.
Thank you, Marty, so much, and thanks to all of you for coming out today. It's just reinvigorating to be with all of the young people who are the leaders of tomorrow. It's great to be with you, President MEEHAN, Chancellor Maloney. Thank you for all of your great work, Matt HURWITZ and Julie Chen. Thank you for what you do to help this program to be the great success which it is. Steve O'Riordan, Joseph Hartman, Joe Hungler, all here today, all being the glue to bring all of this together. And Representative Vanna Howard, thank you so much. Thanks for your great leadership up in the State House. Rowdy Mom, as usual, here, doing everything that you can for the students, for the young people, for the next generation. And to Tom Golden, congratulations on your success and now taking on this enormous responsibility to be the city manager here in Lowell, this great American city. As President Meehan said, my family is from Lawrence, and they dammed the rivers, and started to draw immigrants from Europe, from Ireland, to come to Lowell and Lawrence. So that's my family's story. The bridges are a very important part of the story. Over in Lawrence, the main bridge is looking at where that hydroelectric facility is. And there was an unfortunate moment when I was about 7 and my brothers were 6. My mother had me at age 39, and then my brothers at age 43, boys at 12 months. And my father thought it'd be fun if he just lifted me up and hung me over the bridge so I could see that hydroelectric facility. My mother didn't think it was that funny. Just a vivid early memory, but of how proud my father was of Lawrence, of the Merrimack River, of this great industrial revolution that drew my family. When I ran, as the president said, when I ran for the Senate in 2013, I went over to 88 Phillips Street in South Lawrence, where my father grew up on the first floor of a triple-decker. And in there were 5 children, my father and his 4 brothers and sisters, and my grandmother and grandfather at 88 Phillips Street. And I rang the doorbell to see who lives there now. And out onto the steps came a Dominican family with their children. And the accents were different, but the aspirations clearly the same for that family as for the Markey. Now, my father's son is a United States Senator. That wasn't on the scoreboard at 88 Phillips Street. And my 2 brothers are both lawyers, successful lawyers in downtown Boston. That wasn't on the scoreboard. So what we have to do is to make sure that we give the same opportunities to the next generation of young people coming from, in many instances, immigrant families, so that they can maximize their God-given abilities as well. Meanwhile, down in Malden, my mother was the second of 5 daughters, and that was an immigrant family. Patrick and Bridget Courtney getting off the boat from Ireland and then living in Malden with their 5 daughters, including my mother. And my grandmother died when my mother was 17 and starting her senior year in high school. So the social safety net in the old days is the older girl will now go to work and my mother will be the mother for the younger 3 children. So my mother had to be a single mom raising her kids. But it didn't mean that she wasn't brilliant. She was brilliant. She could do calculus for fun at the kitchen table. She never had it. She could translate my Latin for me when I was now going through high school. But she didn't get to go to college. When she got Alzheimer's, I said to my father, who drove a truck for the Hood Mill Company at one point, we kept her in the living room in Malden. Because my father said this. My father said, Eddie, it was an honor that your mother married. She was a brilliant woman, and I drove a truck for her. So your mother's never going to step foot in a nursing home. What I did at one point was I just filmed my mother, and I said, Ma, did you ever want to go to college? And she said, no. And that's just how that whole generation was, very stoic. So then I said, Ma, if you could have gone to college, where would you have gone? And she leaned into the camera and she said, if I had gone to Salem State, don't you think I could have been a good teacher? Yeah. So this whole time, and now she's 85, and she finally says the words, that she just couldn't do it. The circumstances did not allow her to go to college. So I know I'll never work as hard as my father in the milkman, and I know I'll never be as smart as my mother, who could do calculus for fun. I couldn't even do it if you had if you were forcing me to do it. I couldn't do calculus, right? So that's just the reality then of how the whole system changed. When I went to college, because 3 boys were born in 12 months, we had to be commuters to college. The 3 of us, and I was the oldest. Well, here's what I realized, that all of the kids, maybe half of them, had parents who had already gone to college. And then there was me trying to figure it out myself. And in my first year in college, especially as a commuter, it was clear that there was a lot of young people who knew a lot. And I didn't know anything. And it can be very disorienting. It can be very tricky when you're in a setting like that, in terms of having the confidence and knowing that you have the ability, but kind of doubting it because it just seems that they know extra things that you don't know. Which is why I love this program. The program helps young people to have that confidence, to have that little extra bit of knowledge, to have mentors that they would like to have, but because no one has ever gone to college in their family just doesn't exist. So for me, this is a very special program, and so Congresswoman Trahan and I, we believe in this program because it represents the fact that I'm the first person in my family to go to college. And Congresswoman Trahan is the first person in her family to go to college. And Chancellor and President MEEHAN is the first person in his family to go to college. And Chancellor Maloney is the first person in her family to go to college. So we know how fortunate we are to be where we are today. But in turn, what it says is that all of the young people who get admitted to UMass Lowell have the capacity to be whoever they want to be. But sometimes they just need a little extra help to make sure that they stay on that path to success. And so for me, there can't be a more important program because you clearly want to keep everyone in college and graduating. And I know that 40% of the students here at UMass Lowell are first generation students. I can identify with that. That was me. But I also know that the talent is equal to anyone who might have had a parent who did go to college. So it's not a question of ability, it's a question of opportunity. And what this program does is it helps to augment all of the natural ability which people have so that they can maximize their God-given abilities. So I love this program. And Senator Warren and I in the Senate, but our great Congresswoman Lori Trahan just did the work in the House of Representatives to make sure this money went into this program because she feels it as someone who grew up in Lowell. She feels it that this is a special kind of a program that we need for the future of Lowell, but really as a model for the whole rest of the country. So I can't tell you how proud I am to be up here with you. And as President MEEHAN said, back in 2015, I was asked to get $13 million for the bridges of Lowell to get them rebuilt. And in a way, those bridges are the metaphor for what this university is. It's a bridge to a new story for all of the families of the children who get admitted to this school, this great school. And for me, there can't be a better use of taxpayers' money than to make sure that we invest in the next generation. So I can't thank you enough for everything that you represent, and we'll be there year after year to try to make sure that the funding continues so that you are in truth the leaders of the 21st century. So thank you all so much. Thank you.
So much for that inspiring story, and I know that our students definitely heard your message loud and clear, and I imagine it was quite inspiring for all of you to have that. And Senator, I think we have to have you back more often. Don't you think, Matt? We need students when we have your convocation and the big meeting, because that was an incredible, I think, lesson for all of us to hear. Really appreciate your heartfelt comments. And again, your ongoing support. I'd like to call out a couple of other people before I introduce Congresswoman Trahan. To my left, the team that leads the university in the academic and research area, Provost Joe Hartman, and our Vice Chancellor for Research, Julie Penn. They've done a remarkable job. I would also like to call out my good friend from the community, Joe Hundler, who oversees our local Boys and Girls Club. They do miraculous work there, and they prepare some of the students that we're lucky enough to call Riverhawk Scholars. And now it's my honor and privilege to bring up before you Congresswoman Lori Trahan. You know, students, I think that which we didn't expect to have happen today, but is actually happening, is you're seeing your government at work. These leaders have taken on the responsibility to make sure that good things happen in our community. And I'm not sure that, you know, and I don't think we said it in announcing you, Marty, you probably, most of you know this, that President MEEHAN served as congressman for this district for 14 years before he became chancellor at UMass Lowell and now president of the university. And during that time, he mentored a certain young woman at the time, Lori Trahan, who later went on and showed the courage after having a great career herself, committing herself to public service. Congresswoman Trahan, now in her second term, we're looking forward to many, many more, because during her short time, I can tell you what a privilege it has been to work with her. When she gets involved in an issue, Lori really likes to see things firsthand. She probably should have an honorary engineering degree. She has walked through more labs, seen more of the research, made more eloquent arguments for the funding that we need to do the work here at this university. She also is a fierce champion for health care, family care, affordable care, and what her constituents need in her community. It is absolutely my honor and privilege to introduce Congresswoman Lori Trahan.
Well, good morning, Jackie. Thank you so much, Chancellor Maloney, for that kind introduction. It's so lovely to join you and President MEEHAN and UMass Lowell leadership and be here with you all this morning. And it's great to welcome Senator Markey back to Lowell alongside my unbelievable partners in state government and with all of you, because this is an important day. It's an important announcement. You know, this federal investment is going to achieve what we know works in our country, and that's investing in our future. You've already heard today that first-time college graduates are amongst you. I mean, President MEEHAN, Senator Markey, Chancellor Maloney, myself. Are there any others who want to add to that list? Because it is truly what makes our country great when we give folks, all folks, the tools that they need to have a better life and to provide opportunity for their family. You know, so I wasn't going to share my own story, but Senator Markey always inspires me to kind of go off script, to share a little bit more. But so after working with Congressman MEEHAN, we used to be at 11 Kearney Square, right, in the old Sun building, which was very important to then Congressman MEEHAN because his father worked at the Lowell Sun. By the time I took office, in 2019, Congresswoman Songus, who Representative Howard had worked for, had moved our office to the Boot Mill Museum. And the reason why that is so significant for me as I show up to my office each and every day is because that my grandmother came here from Brazil, my grandfather from Portugal, and my grandmother worked in the Textile Museum. that I now call my congressional office. And so she didn't get to see me get elected to Congress, nor did she get to see me graduate from college, which was a dream of hers for my 3 sisters and me. But it does remind me what is possible in our country when we are at our very best. And that is the hope that we have for you. That is why we worked so hard, all of us in this room, not just Senator Markey and I, to make sure that we put this federal investment, over $500,000, to the Riverhawk Scholars Academy. And we're going to hear more from Matt in terms of what that investment is going to result in terms of expansion of programming. But, you know, we all sit here today and we can harken back to those days of going through the rigorous and very new application process, navigating through financial aid forms. And that was before we even set foot on campus, without the mental models or the family stories being passed down in terms of how to do it. And so it is so, it's so gratifying for all of us to be able to take this community funding and put it to work here at UMass, and more specifically at the Riverhawks Scholars Academy. Now I read some of your bios because while the Chancellor is very gracious to say that, you know, I could probably get an honorary engineering degree, I think you all know that that is not at all appropriate, given that I've only set foot in the lab but have not had the training that some of you have. But truly, from computer science to healthcare and public health to engineering, you all are the future of our country, and I feel as though we are in good hands. You're going to make an extraordinary impact on our community, on our Commonwealth, and on our country. And I couldn't think of a better investment of these federal dollars. And to be honest, we're all optimistic about our future when we see folks with the grit, the wherewithal, and the perseverance like you sort of take that baton to see where you can bring us next. So with that, I will turn it over to
Matt?
Okay, Matt, I'm so sorry, I did not know I was introducing you. But we are thrilled that this investment is going to come your way, because no one knows how to make that impact grow than you. So thank you.
So I get to be the person that is going through a PowerPoint presentation, which is not the fun speaking of. I do want to say just what a joy it is to be in front of this group of people. You know, Riverhawk Scholars Academy, I'll give a brief history and talk a little bit about what the funding will go towards. But I really think that this program is a representation of the best of what public universities like UMass Lowell can do. It's been a labor of love by so many people. Some of those people are in this room, many of them aren't, and I just think that, you know, speaking as someone who's been involved in Riverhawk Scholars Academy from day one, it's just a joy to be here at this moment with you all. I was not planning on saying anything about my own personal history, but I will share that I am the beneficiary of my parents' college degrees, the middle-class Jewish background that I have growing up in southern New Hampshire. I probably shouldn't say I'm from New Hampshire in this room, but I will expose that. And when I started working here at UMass Lowell over a dozen years ago, I didn't realize that I was starting my own professional journey doing what was going to lead me to what I feel is the most impactful work that I could possibly be in service of. And it's really an honor of all of you. I'm excited for you all to get a chance to talk more with our students. Some of you know these students really well, some of you are just getting to know them. They inspire me every single day, and I know I say that to you all, but I hope that you hear me when I say it, because it really is what gets me up every morning, even on the hardest days. It's the model that you set for me and for the rest of us to do the best that we can, to create programs like this, to bring you a great education and make sure that we're honoring your journey as you move through and get your degree here at UMass Lowell. So thanks to all of you for all that you do for me and for our program and our university. Okay, so I promise to keep this brief, if I can make it work. Okay. So Riverhawk Scholars Academy, just the brief history, we started in 2017. with that focus on academic success. Up till now, our primary attention has been on students in their first year, first-time, full-time, first-generation students. With this federal funding and then some other monies we've been able to bring in, we are significantly expanding that program. But up to now, we've served 1,200 students and growing. So we've had a big impact on lots of students, but I think that's only the beginning. We've had a positive impact on student academic success and retention. And we have lots of really great data that shows that if you're a first-generation student in Riverhawk Scholars Academy, as opposed to one who is not, you get better grades, you earn more credits, and you're more likely to finish your degree here at UMass Lowell. We have a positive impact on student sense of belonging and engagement with campus resources and opportunities. A lot of our focus is on connecting our students to the best people, resources, and opportunities on our campus. And we've seen that success over these past 5 years. We've helped with recruitment. You know, there are students that will come up to me and say, you know, Dr. Hurwitz, I went to UMass Lowell because I was choosing from a bunch of different schools, and I saw Riverhawk Scholars Academy, and I thought, oh, those are people like me on the same journey as myself, and that's the school that I want to be in. Institutional prestige, hopefully we're going to see that even accelerate as we are able to tell the story about the impact of this funding on our program. And fundraising. We hope this is only the beginning, so we're going to set our goals in the stratosphere, and can't wait to see sort of what this means for the program going into the future. We want to bring as much money as possible into students' pockets. We know that a lot of the students in Riverhawk Scholars Academy come from low-income, working-class backgrounds. You know, they're scrimping and saving every penny that they can get to pay for their education, to make sure that they're graduating with as little debt as possible. And so as much as we can direct money towards students, especially as incentives, to get them engaged in research, learning, mentoring, and leadership opportunities, the better it's going to be for them and for our program. We've started some of our expansion efforts already. Last summer, we launched a program we call First to Launch, which is our summer onboarding program for students. We are expanding going into next year with what we're calling a year of opportunity. So for the first time, students can stay in the academy for a sophomore year. And then we're also developing some pathways to career initiatives, really focused on that career development, students moving off into the workforce, moving into graduate school. Some of the accomplishments, these are some of the people that are in this photo are also in the room, so you can have them sign a copy of this photo. There's a bunch of awards listed there, but I think just what these accomplishments show, whether they are institutional recognitions, statewide recognitions, or national ones, is that people are seeing the good work that we're doing and honoring that. And, you know, part of how we tell the story of this program, and part of, I think, what leads to that future success, is the ability to tell that story and really showcase, here's the impact that we can have, here's what others are saying about it, and then here's how we can turn that into a real difference in terms of programming and opportunity for our students. I think the thing I'm proudest of, by the way, is this last piece, which is that a lot of our students move into leadership roles, including some of the students you're going to hear from today. They represent the best of, I think, what our program can accomplish. I don't think we can really claim that much credit for what they've done. Sometimes we're just lucky that they chose to join our program, and then we can sort of act as if we had something to do with the amazing success they find here. But the fact that we have students here that have moved on to significant leadership positions in their departments, their colleges, across the university, and student government, with significant awards, you know, that to me is the most telling illustration of the success that our program has achieved. And then in terms of moving into the future, so just a bit more detail here, you know, I really think that it's a program that's meeting a critical need, working towards greater equitable outcomes and social and economic mobility. Everyone you've heard from today has talked about that, and that is, I think, what our program is ultimately all about. How can we level the playing field and make sure that there's no factor that impedes a student's ability to succeed here at UMass Lowell. Our future plans will include the greater development of curricular and co-curricular programs that lead to maximum impact, integrated learning, and academic excellence. We are going to grow to support more students up through graduation and support students' transition into the workforce or graduate school. I alluded to those pieces of the growth earlier. That's a lot of the work that we'll be doing over that next year, is scaling up that programming. We're looking at the potential of creating something like a Center for First Generation Student Success, which will sort of bring under one umbrella other first-gen focused initiatives. And then, you know, we really do believe that Riverhawk Scholars Academy can become a national model for best practices around combining all the efforts of an entire institution all the best people, all the best offices, and all the best work into sort of one focused program that is really bringing students the best of the university and helping them make their way through to their degree. So we're excited about that future, and again, I just want to express my deep gratitude to everyone in here for all of your support, for all that you've done, and I could not be happier right now, and mostly I'm happy for our students, present and future. So thank you all again.
Matt, you're going to introduce the student?
Oh, yeah, thank you. I thought my part was done. Yeah, this is actually the part we're all here for. So KIARA VASQUEZ is going to be our first student speaker, and KIARA, I'm going to give you the floor.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for having me. I believe in the past, whenever we heard the term first-generation college student, there was such a negative perception that followed along with it. It was believed that students who did identify as first-gen lacked the skills or the necessary resources to be successful, all because we weren't privileged or fortunate enough to have parents who obtained a degree. And I'm so grateful for a program like the RHSA that allows students like myself and the students in this room the opportunity to rewrite that story and what it means to be first gen. There's so much strength and pride that comes with that name and with that identity. Students in this room like myself, we aren't just students, we're not just leaders on campus. There are so many external factors that we deal with other than just being a student. Some of us are caretakers, some of us work full-time jobs, and there's just so many things that impede our journey, and yet we stand here today showing our resilience, our grit, and our strength to keep persevering and do what we do to be successful in this life and in this opportunity we've been given to obtain a degree. You know, there's an estimated 50% of college students in this country who identify as first gen, and that number is only growing. And it's for programs like this that allow us the resources to continue that journey. Obtaining a degree for me is not just upward mobility for myself, it's for my entire family. I'm the first in my family. To obtain a degree, to keep going and persevering through all obstacles that I face, challenges, and I'm just grateful to be here today and share my journey alongside my peers. And I'm thankful for your donations to continue our journey here together and growing as one. And I'm just grateful for this opportunity. So thank you.
Thanks, KIARA. Up next, we have NICOLE Rosario.
Hello, everyone. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So as you may or may not know, I've been a part of the RHSA since my freshman year. I'm currently a senior, and I'm also a team leader. I fell in love with the first year, honestly. I was like, I got invited to a really cool club. So then I came freshman year. I went to almost every event because I could. And then I stayed on as a peer leader. And I said, I'll do it 1 year. Junior year, I stayed on too. Senior year, I'm still here. And now I'm a team leader. But I think one of the best things, there are too many to count, honestly. But one of the things that I really appreciated was the community. I think community, being a part of something, it means the difference between feeling alone and feeling empowered. And honestly, I felt empowered. I felt like even if I was struggling, if I knew there were others that went through my struggles, I wasn't alone. I could stand up, I could keep going. If there were others succeeding and I wasn't there yet, I could get there. Maybe I could even push beyond the limit. I could make the next mark so the one behind me can come right up. So RHSA, it's not just about building the skills, helping first generation, be professionals, be leaders, be motivators. I think it's about building a community that can last beyond the years that you're here. So I really do appreciate that this program can grow, and I hope I can be here to see it grow even bigger. So.
Wonderful. And finally, we have Nader Hernandez.
thank you everyone for being here, for the congressional delegation, university leaders, and our local state delegation. So my journey actually started over there at ETIC. One of the first leadership trainings that we did with some of the people in this room, including my vice president, Gifty Kessie, really showed me that the RHSA was kind of the engine, the main promoter of first-gen empowerment here at UMass Lowell. And that really, you know, as I grew into my role as a peer leader, I really was like, what else can I do for first-gen students on campus? I know that this isn't the only step that I'm going to be doing, you know. I was thinking of, you know, should I be a team leader, should I be a peer leader? But I knew that I wanted to expand my horizons here on campus. I had bigger ambitions for first-gen students. So one of the first tasks I did was to recruit majority first-gen Senate. So we made history not only by having the most diverse Senate here at UMass Lowell, but also by having the most first-gen representation. So over 60% of our senators now are first-gen. So they're really leading the change. It just goes to show that RHSA is a pathway for first-gen students like myself and like everyone else in this room to become the next generation of leaders. And I think that really was solidified in the first time that this is the first time that we have a first-gen ticket from the RHSA. So Gifty Kessie, my vice president, is also first-gen, which is really rewarding to see that we started over there at ETIC in that conference room, and then we grew into this conference room with such remarkable leaders, a room full of leaders actually. I think what the RHSA means to me is that empowerment aspect. I know we heard a lot about community, you've heard a lot about what it means for our communities, but I think not only as a national model, but here at UMass Lowell is what makes us unique. We always listen to students, we always want to make sure that those voices that are not heard are at the table. And you know, this is a prime demonstration of that. I think the Chancellor and her team have really dedicated themselves to that. And the meetings that we have every month just go to show, like I always think, like I was meeting today with so-and-so and we were talking about this, and she's like, what? How? I thought you were at class. And I'm like, Mom, sometimes I have to miss a couple classes to make these important meetings. But, you know, from the stipends, from the scholarships, from the mentorship, the guidance, I know, you know, Matt reached out to me and said, hey, Nader, this is a really good opportunity if you want to come speak. You know, only someone that truly cared about you and your ambitions and what you want to do in life would come out and reach out to you and say, hey, there's this opportunity for you and I want to unlock your potential. And I think that's really what the RHSA does fundamentally, is unlock the potential of first-gen students that are often overlooked. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you to the team from the Riverhawk Scholars Academy. Now you know that you are part of their journey and
Their community.
and we can't wait to see at some point they might be in one of your roles a long time from now, because you still have a lot of work to do. But again, we know that your time is so precious, and we really appreciate you being here today and to meet our students and hear about this program firsthand. I don't know if you have any questions, because I know we really should be wrapping up and given the time constraints. Anybody? Any last words? Good. Okay, so again, join me in thanking the Congresswoman, the Senator, for all you do for the Commonwealth, the nation, and especially for your community here at UMass Lowell. We're forever grateful. Thank you for being here.
So we learned this.